games, like the base game that's there, I wouldn't say that it's like, an incredible game, but it's sound enough and entertaining enough, and in ways it's just kind of like it's not that impressive, but somehow the social interaction and the game works really well together.
Hmm.
Uh, so it kind of makes like every experience a new and fresh experience, even though you're not really doing anything too crazy different from the first.
I could see that. Like it seemed like because I only got to play like 2 rounds. In the first round, I did nothing right. I think I survived that. In the second round, I was the first person killed by the ghost. But it was like I like the local audio thing. I
Oh yeah.
enjoy you have to say the ghost's name to get it to freaking come out. When you're ready
Oh yeah.
for it, and but it also in our defense, like our first round, we went in with my nephew, who's on Twitch. I think it's Shroom Doom 13. And he had like a bunch of money in the game already, and we all had flashlights. In the second round, he was gone and had one flashlight and didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah.
But
it's got a learning curve to it, I think.
Yeah.
But once you're really good at the game, it just becomes like, I don't know, like I think of the game as kind of like a haunted Clue. Sort
Oh,
of.
sure, that makes sense. Yeah.
So like and you work cooperatively to figure out what's the ghost, what tools work to get the ghost, what room's the ghost in, and that sort of thing, and just kind of work together as a team. It's I think it's great. I think it's pretty good for a game that's being made by one guy.
Right.
Yeah.
For still being an alpha. It's good.
It's funny, like I saw people posting about it, and I never really read the post. I just thought, oh, that's weird. They're playing that 30-year-old Sierra game, Phasmagoria.
Yeah, Phantasmagoria is just like
what's
my
so
same thing.
hilarious about that? One of my friends wanted to play the game. I'll show you a text he sent me, but he was like, let's go play that, that game, blah, blah, blah. And like, he calls me up on either Discord or whatever, and he's just like, yeah, this game's like really old. It's like 30 years old.
It's like
And I was
2D.
like,
It's an adventure game. Like, what is this?
and I was like, I think you downloaded the wrong one.
Phantasmagoria is a good game, but not the one you're looking for.
Yeah, he downloaded it off of Steam, and he's like, I unfortunately have to, refund this. And I'm like, well,
at least it was cheap.
Yeah.
No. All right, you guys ready to get this going?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of Picking Up the Pixels RPG Love. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Musum.
Hello.
And Mina.
Hi.
Let's just dive right into it because we got a lot of stuff in the second half of the episode. Musum, what have you been playing this past month?
So I figured I'd start with our game club game of the month, Ikenfell.
Yeah.
Which I don't want to spoil our discussion for that podcast, but I feel like it's such a good game. We talked a little bit beforehand that we should maybe talk about it a little bit here.
Yeah.
So this is a, indie RPG. The combat takes place on like a 3x10 grid. The art style is kind of a Super Nintendo-esque art style, but like, with animations in the game that the Super Nintendo probably could never do.
Yeah.
But
I really like the main character's victory animation.
It's been a minute. I don't remember what she did.
She like snaps her fingers and flame comes out, and she does like an arm pump where it's like, yeah. It's really good.
Like it's a super freaking good game. Like I probably spent the most time with it over the last month.
I tried to start it pretty early this month because I haven't finished the last couple months worth of games. And boy, I kind of knocked out the 20 hours in that game real quick because I think the most interesting thing, and probably the most divisive thing for most people is the combat system is timing based, so it very much feels like the Paper Mario timing sort of thing. And I think it's really good because it keeps every battle really interesting, but I think it's bad because it makes every single boss battle way harder than it should be.
Yeah.
I think that's my one big criticism for this game. I really loved this game. But man, are the boss battles really, really hard, to the point where after I fought like the third one or so, whatever the cauldron boss was, I set the rest of the game to just always automatically do the timing for me and give me the grade, because at that point it's just like, this is
Yeah.
and I'm glad I did, because every single boss battle in the game is really hard.
Yeah, like even for me, it was whatever the star battle guy's name was.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, that was when I was like, you know what? I just spent like half an hour and failed. I'm just turning this on auto, so I always get great. And even with auto on, those battles are still hard.
Yeah, and the game has a tendency to... It's really interesting because the encounters you run into, just random enemies, are really solid. They probably take a smidge longer than I'd like them to, but they're not random encounters. So, you have to run into a monster out on the field, and then you can run away if you don't want to fight them. Those are largely good and all very interesting. But a lot of the bosses are like multi-stage bosses, and they can call up minions too. So it's sort of... They are significantly harder than I expected.
Yeah. Like, I think the final bosses of the game took me probably a solid like 2 to 3 hours to get through them all. You know?
Yeah, there's like the final boss battle, no spoilers, has like a bunch of forms, and it's like, okay, well, here's another one. Okay, let's fight this one too. But yeah, I it's interesting. I'm glad we played it, because I feel like Ikenfell, as soon as it got released, I was like, okay, cool. This seems 100% my jam. I need to make sure that I pick this up. And it's only $15, $20 maybe. And I played it on Switch, and unlike other Switch games this year, it ran super well. No problems at all. And I'm glad I picked it, because it's most likely going to show up in my top 10 this year. It's a pretty easy shoe-in for and it's got a really cool story with a lot of there's a lot of different types of people in the game that the game doesn't really make a big deal about. Like, one of the characters is non-binary, and one of the characters is aromantic, and one of the characters is like 100% in love with your character, which is one of my favorite interactions in the game. Is just her busting on the scene and be like, "Let's duel." It's like, oh god, okay, here we go again. All right.
That was probably my favorite character in the game.
You beat her, and she gets all bashful, and it's like, "I love you. See you later. Bye." It's really good, but the game like doesn't really make a big deal about it, which I think is really great. And one of my favorite composers did the music for this game, Ivy and Sarashu, who have an incredible album they put out a number of years ago called The Black Box. And they're the whole soundtrack, it's like 85 tracks, is really great. If anybody hasn't heard their stuff, it's basically like a jazzy mix of chiptune and piano. And it's really great. Go play Ikenfell. It's great. I could talk about it for probably about another couple hours, which we'll do in a couple weeks for Game Club. But
yeah, it's super good. I 100% agree with everything you said, and I don't know that I have any more to add about it right now either. So
go play it.
Let's see. So I've also played a bit of 13 Sentinels.
Oh yeah.
It gives you percentages, kind of like you have the 3 modes in the game: the story mode, the battle mode, and then information you have unlocked. And like one of them, I have it like 50. I think I have the. Well, no, I don't remember what's what. I'm about halfway through though, like averaging those percentages together. I have a really hard time playing this game for more than like 20 to 30 minutes at a time, and I 100% like it's like a bedtime story to me in a way, like because
Right.
I play for half an hour and then I fall asleep.
Right.
And
Right.
I really like the game. I can't figure out why it can't hold my attention for long periods of time. But it's it's not a perfect game. It's a little weird, just in what it is. I talked a
Right.
bit about that last time with you don't really get choices in the story that I can tell.
Yeah, at least not at the beginning.
Yeah. And the battle system's weird, but I've grown to mostly be all right with it. Probably because I keep getting high scores whenever I do it, even if I'm not necessarily getting all the bonus objectives.
Right.
But anyway, I don't know. It seems neat. Might wait for it to go on sale.
Everyone here that I hear that finishes it at the end says like it's really great once the game ties up all the different stories and like all the loose ends and answers all the questions. But I think for some people, I'm not pointing the finger or anything, but I think for some people, if anyone out there is feeling frustrated by it, it seems like it has one of those things where just asking a ton of questions throughout the entirety of it, and then thankfully it eventually answers it. But
every single chapter in that game has like a twist and turn in it where it's
okay.
What, that robot is a soul of another robot or something. It's
right.
Anyway.
Yeah. It's a really interesting game. It's nice to see Vanillaware do something so different and kind of take on an established genre in visual novels and say, what if we took a visual novel and instead of it being like this 50-hour story with some minor branching stuff here and there and like 15 endings, how about we just split it into 13 characters and put a real-time strategy mech game in there too? And it's like, okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. It is funny. I finally played the one character story where you basically do like 1 or 2 missions for him, and it's like, this thing is locked basically until you complete the game. Like, I think
oh wow,
I think exactly what it says is you can't continue this character's story till all the other characters have 80% of their story complete.
Oh geez, wow, okay,
or something like that. But it doesn't really, like, it has that thought cloud thing where you press a button and it gives you a variety of topics anytime you start a chapter, and it reminds you of all the plot points that you experienced previously with that character. So it's
right.
For someone like me who is a really bad memory for names and things like that, it is the game's savior to me.
Yeah. Well, and it I think it opens up a lot of cool dialogue options too, where if you go talk to someone, you can present stuff from your thought cloud, like Final Fantasy II style, where it's like, what do you think about this? And it can, I think it can lead to some kind of fun conversations.
Yeah. So I also played some Persona 5 Royale. I went and drove out of town to get that back from my friend because I just got an itch and had to scratch it,
Right. Got that Persona itch.
Yeah. And I just started doing that like maybe this past week, so I haven't really advanced the story a whole lot. I just got past the kind of Shiro, is that the guy's name? The mobster guy.
Oh, right, the bank vault dungeon.
About to start the Medjed thing. So it's kind of the only thing I'm doing with this is I'm looking up choices for social link conversations, and other than that, I'm just kind of taking it as it goes, So I haven't started a romantic interest in the game yet. I didn't do Anne the first time, so I'm either going to do Anne, or if I can get to her before, or get to whatever rank I need to be before the vacation, I may do the new NPC whose name eludes me at the moment. But
oh right, I don't remember.
She seems like she's going to be a really cool character.
Yeah,
like there's a moment where Akechi runs into you, and then you run into her, and then you have like this brief philosophical discussion. Whereas, in the game, you and Akechi are kind of diametrically opposed, and she actually takes a middle point in it, which I found interesting. And I found interesting that her middle point was completely logical too, in my opinion. But
yeah, I was just looking up. Sony announced the PS Plus collection for PS5. It's like a selection of like 20 or something PS4 games that are enhanced for PS5. Persona 5, the non-royal version, is on there. So if anyone's scooping up a PS5 and you haven't played Persona 5 yet, get that for free.
Yeah. That makes me even more mad that Royale isn't just a DLC. Like,
Right.
what are you doing to people? Like, the amount of improvements in this game, I feel like are worth getting that version over the regular one. The regular, I think, is still great. It's just I feel like it was a scummy move still, even if I gave them money for 2 copies.
I feel pretty happy though that I've seen Royal on sale pretty frequently though, like especially the disc version, which is pretty surprising.
Yeah. So I'm gonna kind of talk about 2 games at once now, and one of them I know you guys have played. I kind of did some soul searching spiel on gacha games, so I'm just gonna kind of do my blurb about these 2, and then you guys can go on to praise the heck out of Genshin Impact.
Okay.
I by no means
both, because I think I know which ones you're going to talk about.
You've probably seen me active in Epic 7 again.
Yes.
Oh.
So, last time I heaped a lot of praise on Genshin Impact, and I still think that's a great game, but it comes down, a lot of it to me, where I had a moment where I was getting annoyed at it because I was doing the dailies. I'm like, I don't want to do the dailies, I want to do the story stuff, and I had to get myself out of doing the dailies because I really only have maybe 1 to 2 hours a day that I get to spend with a console game at most.
Sure.
And it was turning into, that was the only thing I was doing in Genshin were those dailies. And I started asking myself, do I actually like gacha games? And if I do, what do I like them? And Impact really wanted me to play Epic 7 again. So I downloaded that just to kind of do my soul searching and try and figure out the things I like and I don't. I really I think that, obviously the thing I like most about these games is I like the variety of characters and the crazy differences in artwork. And Genshin was not giving me that as quickly as something like Epic 7 does.
Oh, sure.
And the other thing is I felt like more of the continent I locked in Genshin, it wasn't quite the variety I was looking for, and it has a lot of story in there, and it's crazy that that's a free game. But the more I played it, the more it felt like a Warframe game, in that it really just wants you to be playing that. And so I said, you know what? I have other things I'm going to play. Is awesome that everyone loves this game, and I still really like it, but I'm not going to have the follow through on this game. So I'm just going to cut ties now. And then I kept playing Epic 7. So when I went into Epic 7, I told myself, okay, I'm not going to worry about the dailies. I'm just going to concentrate on the story, because I was in the middle of I don't remember what they're called, but the chapter 2, the God Killer story.
Right, like the second set of story stuff.
So have you completed that second set of story?
Yes.
Okay, so are you on to the newest content now?
I haven't started the third story.
Okay, all right.
I'm probably going to do that sometime this week, and I don't know that I'm going to stay with the game forever, just because I really only have good health equipment and good attack equipment, and I only have enough for about 1.5 teams. So haven't been focusing on hunts at all, which I realize is going to be detrimental at a quickly arriving point. So I haven't figured out what I'm going to do there, and I think realistically I'm just going to try and get all the way through the third story as best I can. And then if they come out with the fourth by then, maybe I'll stick around for it. But I imagine there's going to be a battle that will prevent me from going forward, and I'll either have to figure out how to get better equipment or do something else.
Right.
Because I love the story and I love the character designs in that game.
Right.
And I think a lot of the team building is really entertaining. I just really dislike leveling up armor and weapons.
Yeah.
Which is a staple of gacha,
It's
Right.
like I have ups and downs with it. The only thing I can say about Epic 7, so the reason why I to this day I still like it is because it's really the pay to win aspect of it doesn't really pan out for the pay to win. It is pure RNG. This is like Diablo 3 levels of getting equipment. It doesn't it doesn't really matter how much money you're throwing at this. Somebody lucky will get the good piece of equipment. So it
Right.
feels like even when I'm up against like random people in the game in PvP content, I have a chance because that person might not be as lucky as me
Yeah.
in terms of
Right.
gear. So it's just kind of it's the most balanced I've ever had a PvP sort of experience from a gacha game. Whereas like a lot of other gacha games, I try to do any sort of PvP in it, and it's just kind of like I will never stand a chance against this guy because this guy's got an
Right.
infinite wallet.
Right.
So there's that. I really like how all the characters in the game are pretty viable. Like they've been releasing 3-star characters that are just as viable as the 4s and the 5s. And like the newest character upgrade that they did, Doris. I don't know if you saw that magical something Doris. I don't know. It's an upgrade.
I can't remember. I think I have Doris, but I haven't. Like I
Yeah.
just completed an upgrade for another character who's
Yeah.
the redheaded mage girl. But
Probably like Carrot or
yeah, that's right.
Okay. Yeah. So Doris just got an upgrade, and she is basically the counter to one of the strongest units in the game. Like, and she's a 3-star.
Oh, wow.
So
Well, and I've noticed. So when I went back into Arena, obviously I was not playing it for however long. I was at the bottom.
yeah,
And I'm back into silver right now. Like I'm probably not going to make it to gold this week because my team is just like it wasn't quite what it needed to be in the first place, and now like there's a lot of 3-star characters that if I see them, I'm like I probably should not play that team because that character specifically seems to be murdering me.
Right.
But and I haven't tried I'm guessing it's like a live PvP mode like
Yeah.
the other.
real-time arena RTA.
I haven't messed with that, but I'm not. I'm more interested.
That's so sweaty. I don't do those, but it is an experience that a lot of people like.
I'm gonna re-download Epic 7 because I haven't played it in a while.
I'll tell you. So they did something that I really like a lot, and I didn't know I would when I first downloaded it. When I first downloaded it, I thought, oh, this looks even worse than before. But they revamped how they do their daily quests.
Yes, this is what really revitalized it for me too.
Yeah, because now it's like a point system where they're like, here's all these activities you can do that qualify for this point system. And as long as you do some of these, you will probably get all the daily stuff without even thinking
so you can kind of do whatever you want to do and fill this bar up as opposed to play 3 PvP matches, play 2 story matches.
Exactly.
Interesting. Okay.
You still got to do a lot of stuff if you want to get all the whatever. I feel like there's 7 levels or something of it, but
there's something like that.
I still got to do a lot, but more than often than not, I'm hitting that just naturally. Like,
it feels better just because if there's something that you're just really not feeling like doing that day, you can probably nix it.
Yeah,
that's smart. That's really cool.
And I think like the final tier reward for the daily isn't actually the one that most people care about. But I mean, if you want all the dailies, obviously you go the full bar. But I think like earlier in the bars where the sky gems are that people care about, and they dip out.
And and I've been playing this game only for 2 or 3 weeks, and I already I can't remember what the 5-star I got when I came back in was, but it was one I didn't have before, and like I already am up to like I've already resupplied all my summon tickets so that if another 5-star appears in the banner that I want, I can get it, and I'm halfway to another thing, and I've already gotten like the epic pass and the extra costume, and like I haven't spent a dime,
Yeah, this is also what I really like about the game is that like a lot of gacha games, I feel like I don't have a chance at guaranteeing like the banner unit or whatever. this game's the only one that I can think of where it's like I haven't had to spend and I just get my pity units
Yeah.
Right.
like but the thing is like you have to have that sort of like control to not just blow it on every banner, but like every limited unit I've been able to guarantee just because I hold on to my currency, and then like sometimes I have enough currency to like basically pity 2 banners, and then I'm like, well, then I don't need to save for a limited. I'll just go ahead and blow a little here, a little there, because I've
Yeah.
got so much extra, and I just get everything, and it's really nice. This game scratches that gotcha itch that a lot of them really struggle for me because I want to get nice things. I want to try new units. I want to do all these kinds of things that, you know, I assume people with money always get to do in every gotcha game.
Right.
But this one's able to fulfill that for me. I realize that like no place is a paradise, and I feel like pretty strongly that if you have a gotcha game that you like, it might be, it might be tailored more to your taste. Epic 7's my pure taste, and I love it so much. I love how even like the events, the side stories that happen pertain to the main story. They give you background on all these characters, and it's there's so much world building that I enjoy doing all the events. Even if I don't clear out the shops, just seeing the event story is very worth it.
So I haven't felt like I've had enough time to actually read the event stories, but I've been doing them just to get the stuff. But
Yeah.
on that second main story, like one of the side stories was the ridiculous chaos worshiping characters.
Yeah.
And that was, gosh, they're entertaining. I hope we get more of them in the third story. But
there is they've had a couple of side events that's been just hilarious. Oh my gosh, there's so many like side stories going on. There's like so many characters. They're juggling like I don't know how they juggle all these stories and keep it all straight, because the callbacks to some of these characters and their plots just evolving throughout the game is really amusing.
yeah. Well, and I feel like Epic 7 kind of broke the code in a way, because they can build a character up and then kill them because they have so many awesome looking characters.
Right.
And like it's not the 80s cartoon G.I. Joe thing where like the military is shooting at people and no one's ever dying.
Right.
Yeah.
But the other thing I really liked about that second story was the final boss on it.
Ooh, yeah.
Is really hard, but he wasn't like a level up gate for my team. He was more okay, my team didn't work. I need to figure out how to rearrange or what characters I can use that will consistently debuff him and consistently get rid of the debuffs on me,
Right.
while also still doing damage. So that was kind of a cool puzzle to crack. It was like an evening puzzle, but it was still it made the victory feel that much more empowering, I guess you could say.
I just remember too, if anyone has Prime Gaming, they have like a monthly bonus on Prime Gaming for Epic 7 too.
I guess now would be the time because they're doing their yearly anniversary celebration, and then in December I'm sure we'll get a bunch of free stuff too.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's, I'm at least there for chapter 3, and I may hit you up, Mina, if once I have to do hunts again.
Well, it might be fun just to come back every once a year for the big story drops and be like, oh, look at all this cool new stuff, and that might be where I go, because it's like, oh, knock out the story stuff and then kind of dip out for a while.
Yeah, it's I feel like it's a good one to do that. It's the story stuff, like especially the chapter 2 one, like is very wordy though. So like you probably aren't going to sit down and finish a story mission in a couple minutes, like you're used to on other phone games,
right.
Just because there's so much dialogue. But I'm really interested to see where they go, and I'm unlocked the upgrade for Ross, so I'm very eager to get that. Although it's
He's very good.
Cool.
He's very good. It's kind of crazy that they make all these units so varied and so good. Like you'd think that they would just be like, no, it's 5 stars or nothing, but it's not like that at all. I really love this game just because they seem to respect, the consumer in a sense.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
obviously they're a business, they're a gacha, they're here to make money, but at the same time, there's like this element of like, well, we are already making a ton of money. There's no reason to like, put the screws to you.
Yeah.
Just
Right. The
Like,
whales will take care of it.
The
Right.
opening sales pitches like immediately have a "Don't show me this again" like
Yeah.
button you can
Right.
press.
yeah.
So I like that too. But it's I know I had like a negative falling out with that game. I feel like it whenever that happened, but I think I think I have a limited capacity in my mind for gotcha games, but I
Sure.
feel like this one occupies a decent space for it.
Right.
They do make me wish like every game had 1,000 crazy, colorful characters, but
Oh yeah.
Right.
This game has so many. I think I have like I'm up to 80 units that are 6 stars now
oh
on
wow,
my
wow.
roster.
Oh, man.
I rotate their gear around.
and the phantasm thing, I'm just gonna press this single button and it's gonna grab all
they
my
did that
2-star phantasms
so
and a bunch of 1-level enemies and upgrade it. Like,
Do you know,
nice.
my mind was so blown every time they've done like an update like that just basically is such a quality of life. That particular one, I like wrote a big long post about how like this may be the greatest of, like, I know we've had some pretty great updates, guys, but this single button to upgrade all my wolves is the greatest
Oh, that's huge.
they've ever
Man.
it's never like it's so like it'll show you all the ones it's gonna do and
Yeah.
what it's gonna put into it, and you
just so
can
that way
say,
you can be like, I don't want to use these things, but I would
Yeah.
like to use these things. Yeah.
Man.
they did some stuff. It still has potential to be a time sink, but I feel like because of the updates they've done, I don't have to constantly be vigilant with
Well,
my
it's
time
more
with it,
manageable, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's all I've played.
All right, Mina, what about you?
So before I've played a couple of games. I will say I know people have poked into the stream and saw me trying to do Pokemon Soul Silver Nuzlocke attempts. If you don't know what a Nuzlocke is, it's basically where you start the Pokemon game and you can only catch one Pokemon per area, and it's always the first Pokemon you encounter per area, and that gets to go to your roster. It's impossible. Soul Silver is impossible. Did not. I thought it was going to be great, because I was like, I remember Soul Silver being like, I really enjoyed it. Like my memory, my rose-colored glasses were like, oh, it'll be great. I'm on attempt number 17. It is actually impossible. I went and kind of Googled because I was like, is it me or is it the game?
Right, is it bad RNG? Like, what's happening here?
And it's not me. I found many posts from people describing that there's a huge problem with the variety of Pokemon you get at the front of that game, and basically, it's not impossible. It's just very, very hard, and possibly, if you get bad luck, actually impossible unless you overly grind. And just the research that I did after I did like 17 attempts of this was just like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
I don't need to do this anymore.
I don't need it. If I do a Nuzlocke again, it's not going to be this one. I don't want to talk anymore about that rightfully annoyed me. The other thing I played a considerable amount of is Divinity 2. I know I must have played this at one point in time, but due to my old age or something, I have I have removed that memory from my brainscape. Like it is.
Right.
This is like I've never. I looked at the time I played the game. And like I've definitely played this game. I don't remember a single thing about. What, I don't know how I don't remember a thing about it. What a trip. I played a couple of different runs of this game so far. So there are a couple people who wanted to play the game with me. So I did a custom character for one group. So it didn't have one of those origin stories or whatever it's called.
Right.
And then with another group, I was just like, I don't feel like trying to like build another custom character. I'll just pick this Lose character. I'll pick this girl. And I'll just, click, just jump into the game with my friends. We get to this. I don't feel like this is that much of a spoiler. I mean, it kind of is, but whatever.
It's an older enough game too.
It's old.
Yeah.
Skip ahead if you don't want to hear.
Right.
So like, I'm playing as this Losa character, and I help this elf out who's being bothered by a bunch of humans who are some sort of elf racist. I don't know what they are. They're racist or something.
Right.
So like she tells me to follow her back to the cave that she and her friends are hanging out in and like gives me a reward as thanks and blah 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 blah. I'm like, that's cool. I go and talk to who I assume is like their leader or elder, and she reacts to me rather strangely. And for some reason, my character is wanting to kill this elf.
Whoa.
And the thing was right. So I'm playing with my friends, and they're doing stuff around, and I'm reading the dialogue that's coming across as I'm talking to this elf while my friends are, we're all over on the map doing all kinds of things, just whatever, because it's whatever. And all of a sudden I'm reading this text and I see that like my character is having like to pass persuasion checks and stuff, and it is very concerning because it sounds like some sort of demon or something inside of me is like waking up and it wants me to strangle this elf.
Oh,
and
God.
I'm like, I'm reading like some of this, like it's getting detailed, and I'm just like, oh. And I tell my friends, I'm like, can you come to this cave? And they're like, why? I'm like, things are gonna maybe go down.
Yeah, I'm gonna need some help.
So, my character, even though I passed like every persuasion check, eventually the only options I had was kill the elf, kill the elf, kill the elf, kill the elf times 5. And I was like, well, we can go with option 1, which is kill the elf, or option 2, 3, 4, 5, kill the elf.
Right.
And my friends are like, now they're all gathered around me, and they're all reading the dialogue that's coming across, and they're like, what is going on? And like one guy was like, I've never seen this ever in any file I've ever played.
Oh no.
And, I started a battle with every elf in that zone. Every single one of them. The whole zone aggroed upon me.
No.
It was insanity, and we had to kill everyone in that zone.
Oh,
Every
God.
NPC had to die.
Wow.
And like my friends were like, what just happened? Like, what did you do? And I was like, listen, I don't know. I may be possessed by some sort of demon. I have no clue. So like I was legitimately like, I was so shook and I didn't know what had happened. But yeah, like I played a couple runs of Divinity 2 now. It's such an experience because I've played it now like a couple different ways. I really like how it's very sort of like it's like a D&D adventure where like you really fine tune your experience. I'm really enjoying it. And I don't know how I don't remember anything about this game because I swear I've had to have played it. But yeah, it's what a great game. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. I'm always sad I missed it.
Those games are pretty cool. Like, I haven't ever completed a run by any means, but I 100% chose that same character, and I don't remember the outcome when I did it, but I think I had the same cave issue you did, actually.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh.
Because
Yes.
it's just like your inner demon thing takes over, and you're like,
Yeah.
no. And then you fail like a check or something like that.
I passed every single one of them, and then it eventually
wow.
just like the demon inside me just basically said like I started like grabbing at my neck or something, and like I wanted to like rip the flesh off this elf or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And my character lunged at her, and I was just like, what? Ah.
What's
that
happening?
part I don't remember at all. Like,
Ooh.
but then again, I could see me going into that and being like, I don't want this outcome, and then reloading, and
Well,
then
yeah.
either skipping it or doing something else. But
I was playing with friends. There was no going back. It was saving.
like,
Oh,
that
right.
makes the game more awesome in a way, though, right? Because you have this
Right.
custom crazy experience.
Yeah. Oh, we had some crazy moments. For some reason, when we were on the tutorial ship, one of my friends must have tripped one of the magisters, and we had an epic level 1 fight at the start of the game because they like somebody did something and upset one of them, and we just basically had to battle the whole tutorial ship. Like,
oh, jeez.
the floor where there's actually like normal people, not like the bottom floor where there's like forced encounters, but the floor where you're not supposed to fight anybody. Yeah, we had to fight people off, and they had like all kinds of crazy stuff.
Jeez.
So
That game must have been awesome with 4 human players in it.
Yeah.
Like, I was playing with a buddy for a bit, and I feel terrible because I just stopped playing the game altogether, and I didn't mean to. It's hard for me to consistently spend time with other people.
I've been craving interaction with others at the moment, so we all got together and started playing it.
Nice.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it's what a good game. And like I said, I really like it. I'm having a great time. So outside of that, and Epic 7, obviously, the other game I played that we didn't talk too much about was Genshin Impact. And I wasn't here last month, but I have played a ton of Genshin. I'm level 40, adventure rank 41 or something now.
Wow. I'm like 26, maybe?
Yeah, this game has a lot of potential. I like it, but it like the thing that I really agree with Musamon is what he said about how it really demands time from you in a way that's in order to keep up with it, I guess you have to kind of commit to it for like quite a few hours a day. And it's not like how like when I'm committing time to do like Epic 7's dailies, a lot of it is you turn the auto wheel on and you know, just walk away from it sort of thing. Like you can absolutely get all your dailies done in Epic 7 on auto. Like there's no need to actually be actively there. Like you can skip all your arenas if you choose to. So I feel like this, like the one downside to Genshin, as much as I like it, is that it doesn't have that feature, and the game gets harder the further you progress. Like once I hit level 40, holy smokes, did the world get so much harder. I can't complete things anywhere near at the speed I was doing when I was 39. And there's no choice. You have to have a harder world when you hit rank 40. It just does it.
Yeah, it just like takes care of, you're just moving up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the other sorry state of affairs with that is I can't play with, like, people can't come into my world and help me that are of a lesser world than me. Like, you wouldn't be able to come and help me even if you were just like one level down.
Oh, if your world level doesn't match, you can't
co-op?
Oh, that's weird. I didn't know that.
So I haven't been able to play with people in my world for a little while now.
Right. That's a bummer.
Which is a bummer. Um, you would think that it would like maybe alter the world level so that way it evens out or something, but anyways, yeah, I'm enjoying it. I just think, like Musum said, it takes up a good portion of my time. This is my Destiny 2, basically. This game is my
Right.
Destiny 2. I
Right.
don't have time for Destiny 2 ever because I'm playing Genshin Impact.
Yeah, it's sort of funny because I play a little bit here and there, but I very much use Genshin as like a cooldown game almost, where it's like I'm gonna fire up the game. I almost never do the dailies because I just they're fine, but like I don't care about like most of the systems in the game. I just like picking a spot and say like I'm just gonna go look at something cool, and there's enough homunculus or chests or challenges still for me to do in the game that I can just kind of like mess around and have fun. Mostly because this is not my Destiny 2, and Destiny 2 is my problem. So it's I don't have two problems, thank goodness.
I get that.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we talked about it last month, just saying like, hey, Genshin Impact is really good, and it's still pretty early. I mean, it's only been out for, it seems like forever, but it's been out for like a month and change.
Yeah, only a month and some.
Yeah, so like it's still really early, but it certainly seems like it has a lot of promise. In 4 days from now, when we're recording this, version 1.1 will come out where they finish the storyline in the second area and they kind of add some additional stuff. And their roadmap seems pretty solid. Like it seems like they're on the right path for it. Yeah.
And I guess I'm super forgiving of the game because it's basically all PvE.
Yeah, that's true.
It's mostly a solo type game. So at any point in time, if I just don't feel like doing something, I just don't do it.
Right. Yeah.
Don't let me keep you guys from heaping praise on it. Like by any
No,
means. Like, it's
I
a
have
good game. I just came to the determination I don't have time to get what I want out of this, so I gotta move on.
No,
Yeah.
I get exactly what you mean because, like I said, it requires much more time than the other games I play.
Yeah, I really like Genshin mostly because I feel like it does what I wanted Breath of the Wild to do more, where I'm like leveling up gear and I'm sort of sticking with a team of people, and Genshin Impact just feels really great to play. Like I still really get a ton of joy in combining elements and making that stuff work super well. Like I feel like for me the gameplay is really great, and I look at all the gotcha stuff that's around it. I just sort of look at it and go, yeah, okay. Like I don't know if I care about a lot of the banners and pulling characters, and like I got that firebombing toddler, and I was like, yeah, okay, like that's fine. Like I don't feel like I do in some of the other games, especially Epic 7, where I pull someone as like, oh yeah, like all right, yeah, like let's do this. So I think that's a testament to Genshin Impact's base characters being so solid that when you get a good team of characters you like, it feels really great. So you don't have to necessarily chase those banners, but I think for people like us that aren't whales, I think that might be a little bit tough, where it's like, well, I'll pull on this banner, whatever. But if I don't, then that's fine. Who cares? I got a good team. So I'm not sure. I'm very excited to see where Genshin Impact goes, because I feel like it only has... It is that studio's game to mess up. Like, it has such promise and it has such a promising start that if they just keep making the right choices, I think it's going to be absolutely huge, especially because, like you said, somehow it's free. And they could mess it up, but I feel like with the other games they've made, all of those have seemed like they've been pretty fair and they've been good. So I hope they do really well, because it seems like this is it seems like this is on everybody's mind lately, which is great.
Yep, and that's pretty much all I've been playing.
Okay, well, I have been playing a lot of Destiny 2, because this is... So for a little bit of context, I haven't been talking about Destiny 2 lately because I've been playing a lot of it. I've sort of been playing a lot of it and not playing any of it alternately. This has been the longest season in Destiny 2. The next expansion that comes out this week... oh god, it comes out this week. That's exciting. A new expansion, Beyond Light, that comes out this week, along with the new season, which is a little bit confusing. So it's essentially like two huge content drops on the same day. Essentially what's happening is almost 75% of the game, as it currently stands, is getting removed on Tuesday. Just because the game itself is so big, not just from a file standpoint, but from like a developer maintenance standpoint, and so few people play the content that's getting removed that there's no reason for them to keep it in the game. Is their reasoning. I feel a little bit differently as a Super Destiny fan, but I get it from a standpoint. The game is like 115 gigs at this point, from like a pure file size standpoint, and come Tuesday it'll be like 70 gigs, so we're getting a fairly large improvement here. So a lot of the last sort of 2 months has been helping people get into the game, because up until the new expansion, as Destiny stands in this kind of in-between phase, it's really hard to get into the game right now, because essentially you do the opening mission from Destiny 1 and it dumps you in the tower and just says like, good luck, and that's it. Thankfully, when Beyond Light launches, anyone that's starting a new character, or you can just pick up the quest, they'll have like a series of quests from the first area of Destiny 1. There'll be a new character there to sort of lead you into how to play the game and like do missions and get gear and stuff like that. So it'll be nice, but as it stands right now, it's rough. So I'm like sherping a lot of people into, here are the first things you want to do, here's some of the content you want to hit next, here's some of the content you want to hit after that. We sort of got, all of a sudden realized we had 6 people playing on PC, so started up a raid night for our little raid group, and we've been doing that for a month and a half now. Doing that every week. So that's been a lot of fun. I've done most of the raids, so I've been teaching people and leading them through these old raids, which is almost all the raids in the game are going to go away. So it's been really fun to kind of revisit that stuff and show people some of that content. So it's been a fun time in Destiny 2, and when I haven't been doing any of that stuff, I haven't been playing it at all, because, as I said, this season has been very, very long. For anyone, maybe even if you don't play it, the season pass has 100 ranks, like they usually do. It's very easy to rank to 100. Most seasons, I get up to like 115, 120, something around those lines. This season I got up to 245. So like,
holy smokes.
and that's just like playing the weekly stuff and kind of playing all the regular stuff and doing like one raid a week. So the season has been very, very good, and the way that they're transitioning this game, or transitioning Destiny 2 as it is right now into the new season and the new expansion, it has been really good, as there's been a lot of storyline stuff in the game, sort of transitioning all this stuff, as the pyramids are here and likely going to be removing 4 of the planets in the game. Like there's this fun in-game sort of like Final Fantasy 14 way, original Final Fantasy 14, where they're very clearly there's a storyline reason why all this stuff is getting removed. And I think that's super exciting. So if anyone wants to join Destiny 2 over on Game Pass on Xbox One and Series X, all of it is free, including the expansions. Just saying. Or just play the base game for free. There's a pretty significant amount of that in there still for free. So, but we talked about everything else I've been playing this week, like Genshin, or this month, like Genshin and Ikenfell. So let's scooch on over here. Anyone need to take a break before we wrap this thing up?
Nope, I'm good.
I'm good to go.
Let's talk about RPG releases for November 2020. Normally I don't make this disclaimer. Apologies if I miss anything here. There's about a bajillion games coming out this month with the 2 new consoles. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that's getting like next-gen patches and re-releases and stuff like that. So first up, Destiny 2 Beyond Light. Just talking about PC, PS4, and Xbox One comes out on the 10th. The next-gen patch for that comes out December 8th. So that doesn't come out day and date. Gears Tactics comes out on Xbox One and the Xbox Series consoles on the 10th. I played a little bit of that, so I think it has some RPG stuff in there. But I'm really excited to hop into that because what I played was really good. Yakuza Like a Dragon comes out PC, PS4, Xbox One, and the Series consoles on the 10th. That comes out on the PS5 the end of March 30th, something around there. If anyone, so this is technically Yakuza 7, but it sounds like from all the reviews I've been reading, like Yakuza 0, this is another really good entry point. If you don't want to play the previous 7 games, you can hop in here. There's a brand new storyline, there's a brand new main character. Seems like it's a really solid jumping on point. And unlike the other games where those were action brawlers, these are turn-based RPGs this time. So they're trying something different. And the turn-based party system, you have like 4 party members in your party. It looks really good. I'm really excited to play this. Assassin's Creed Valhalla comes out PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series on the 10th. Also very excited to play this. Got a lot of games releasing like all at once, which is just a real problem. Demon's Souls Remake comes out on the PS5 on the 12th. You probably know what Demon's Souls is. It's the only Souls game I've actually played, and it was really good on PS3. And this new one looks like it's a really faithful recreation of a game that I genuinely really loved. So excited to see a bunch of people play that for the first time. Godfall comes out on the PS5 on the 12th. This is the third-person looter slasher that they're talking about. This is published by Gearbox. I still cannot remember the developer's name, but they're finally starting to release some concrete stuff about this, and this actually is starting to look pretty cool. So I'm curious to see reviews about that. Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory comes out on Switch, PS4, and Xbox One on the 13th. I don't know if this has any RPG elements in it, but I know this is the Kingdom Hearts rhythm game, sort of like theater rhythm, however you pronounce that. Very similar to that, but sort of like from a behind-the-back standpoint. There's a demo out now on Switch, and I don't know if it's on the other consoles right now or not, but that looks pretty cool, and I think it has over 100 tracks in it when I looked at it, and wow. So if you want a bunch of Shimamura music, almost all of her stuff from those games appears to be in that, which is insane. World of Warcraft Shadowlands comes out on PC and OS X on the 20th, or the 23rd maybe. That's WoW. I haven't played for a while, and I kind of try to not pay attention to it because I don't want to Destiny 2 is enough of a problem as it is, and I don't want to add another one on top of that. Star Renegades comes out on PS4, Switch, and Xbox One on the 19th, and I think the PS4 version comes out on the 25th. This is a cool roguelike RPG that came out recently. I played a little bit of it on PC. It seems really, really neat. It's sort of a traditional turn-based RPG that deals a lot with like breaking enemy shields and stuff like that. But it is a roguelike, and it has like the Shadows of Mordor Nemesis system in it too. Ooh. So if like a boss or an underling or someone kills you to restart your playthrough, since it's a roguelike, they will get stronger in kind of the bad guys group. So a lot of reviews have been really good. I really liked what I played, but I'll probably wait to scoop it up on something other than my PC here for that. Empire Sin comes out PC, OS X, PS4, Xbox One, and Stadia on the 1st of December. This is Romero Games, John and Brenda Romero, their new game. It's a turn-based mobster strategy game that I think has some RPG stuff in there, but if not, it looks really cool and has not gotten enough coverage yet. So keep an eye out for that. Winning probably the longest title of 2020, Sharon the Wanderer, The Tower of Fortune, and the Dice of Fate comes out on PC and Switch on, I think, December 3rd. This is another sort of the traditional roguelike Sharon the Wanderer games. I don't remember if this is the remake of an older game or if this is the brand new one. But Sharon the Wanderer games are really great, and I am really bad at them. So go check that out. And lastly, Dragon Quest XI S Definitive Edition comes out PC, PS4, and Xbox One on, I think, December 5th. Word of warning, that is a... on those three platforms, that is an up-resed version of the Switch one. So it doesn't look as good as the previous ones on those platforms, but that's the only way they could get all the improvements over. So, sort of a bummer, but, you know, that's all right. Because Dragon Quest XI is really good. All right, let's move on to our news stories here. We actually have a couple of bangers here, starting off with Mass Effect Trilogy Legendary Edition finally being officially announced, being the worst kept secret for about the last year. It's called the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I wrote Trilogy in the title. Collects the original 3 Mass Effect games in one remaster collection, featuring improved visuals, textures, and all previously released single-player DLC and content. The content also includes like the pre-order like skins and outfits and stuff that you got from pre-order at Target or Amazon or whatever. It includes all of that stuff. It does not include the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, which is a bummer because it's good, but that's understandable because no one would play it. So they did say this isn't a full remake, but it's kind of a bigger thing than just here's a 4K remaster. They're aiming to greatly improve and kind of clean up the original games. If you read between the lines, it's basically like, yeah, we get it. Mass Effect 1 is kind of old at this point, so maybe we should do a bunch of stuff like to the inventory and maybe a little bit of the battle system and some of that stuff. So nothing super specific about how they're improving that, but you can kind of read between the lines there. It's releasing spring 2021. It's coming to PS4, Xbox One, and PC, with the PS5 and Xbox Series versions supported with forward compatibility with, quote, targeted enhancements. I do not know what that means, but I'm assuming it means that there might be like ray tracing or something in that, but we'll have to see when that comes out. Go ahead.
I should say I'm excited they are finally doing this. I am bummed they are not bringing it to Switch.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like I'm not surprised, but I am disappointed because EA still is definitely acting like the Switch doesn't exist, which I'm
I
sure
didn't even realize that.
they've put out virtually nothing on the Switch at all, which is baffling because EA, as we know, likes money, and putting pretty much anything on the Switch will print money for you.
It will just make money, free money.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So it's really weird, especially since you could probably put out a lower res version of the Mass Effect trilogy on the Switch, and it would probably still do really well. I'm sure it wouldn't be the easiest thing to put out, but I feel like it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you can. Boy, it's really raining outside. You could probably make a business case for, yeah, this will sell like gangbusters on this platform. But
I mean, I guess if they're aiming for 4K textures, obviously that version wouldn't hit Switch. But like,
right.
I'd be happy if they just stuck the original versions on Switch, personally. But
yeah, it'd be kind of fun if you did like a Mass Effect classic trilogy on Switch, and it's, if you want the original 3 games, here they are.
And we're talking about games that are 2 generations old at this point, right? Like,
yeah, because they came out on 360. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Wow,
Anyway.
yeah, God, time flies. They also announced a veteran team, as they called it, with no details, at BioWare is working on the next Mass Effect game, and they posted a screenshot of a ship and some people, and that's all we know. So that's also not super surprising, but I hope EA in general, especially with BioWare, cough cough Dragon Age, has a really bad habit of saying we are working on this thing like 5 years too early, Dragon Age, and then like every E3 they just show a bunch of concept art and say that the game is going really well. It would be nice if they wouldn't do that this time. You can go radio silent for a couple of years, we'll still be excited, and then just say like, here, it's coming out later this year. That would be okay.
I mean, like right now, I'm still worried about BioWare going out of business. Like,
yeah, right. So like,
release your next game and make it sell first before you get my hopes up about another Mass Effect.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sure. Thankfully, the Legendary Edition of Mass Effect will probably do really well based on my Twitter timeline today, of just people being like, yeah. So that'll do pretty well for them at the very least. Get them until they can come out with whatever the next Dragon Age thing is going to be.
I mean, they could release a $200. This comes with a Mass Effect laser pin version,
right,
and I would probably get it. Like,
gimme, yeah. Next news story here: Bravely Default 2 delayed to February 2021. This was supposed to come out this year, and Nintendo kind of stuck to that line until this last week, where it was very clear it wasn't going to come out this year. It's going to be releasing worldwide on February 26th. The short presentation they did also revealed that a whole bunch of changes have been made to the game's difficulty and controls based on the feedback from the demo that came out earlier this year. There's a whole bunch of changes they made, but thankfully they included 3 new difficulty levels that you can kind of switch between on the fly. Because I guess one of the biggest pieces of feedback from the demo was, yo, this thing is hard. Like, can we... the final game isn't going to be like this, right? Because I'm not going to be able to finish this. So I think that's one of the biggest reasons why they want to put those difficulty options in there. But I'm glad to see that they're going to come out with this relatively soon, because this game looks really good. And I really liked the first Bravely Default. And the second one just kind of didn't do it for me. Bravely Second, I don't even think I finished that.
It was okay, but it was never as good as the first one for me.
Right. And I feel like the biggest problem in the second one is you drop the lady that said murderer when she got upset, and that upset me because she was my favorite.
Adia.
Yeah, I liked that tiny spicy lady. She was great. So I'm really excited to see with this. I'll probably buy this day one because it seems to kind of return to what I liked about the first one. So, speaking about another sequel coming out here in 2021, Darkest Dungeon 2's early access is going to come out on Epic Games Store sometime in 2021. And unfortunately, that's still about all we know about the game. I guess from the original reveal stuff they had, they were talking about like you setting up a base camp at the bottom of a snowy mountain and kind of trying to get to the peak, as opposed to defending this town like in the first one. But I really liked that first one. I'm really excited to see. I'm sort of surprised they're doing a sequel. And I'm very excited to see what they're going to do to this one, because it seems like they could go a whole bunch of places, and I'm excited to see where they go. But that's all of our news that I could find other than, every game is being delayed and here are the new consoles. So I think that's the end of our episode for this month. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at pickingupthepixels.com. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page. Patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers. Get all the behind-the-scenes early access exclusive audio from this show and TVGP and Critical Misses and We Work Like It and the 50 other shows that I do every week. You get all of that there for just $5 a month, not $5 an episode. It is probably cheaper than it should be, but you can pay more if you'd like to. We greatly appreciate it. You get all the audio. You help me pay for the show, which none of these shows are super cheap. And if you want to know where any of your money goes, I'm value transparency greatly. Everywhere the money goes to is on the Patreon page. You can see where all that stuff goes and exactly how much it costs. Musum, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find the hub of all my musical endeavors at jbaudio.net. I also recently released the 4-track soundtrack I did for the video game soundtrack. Just search for John Beecham solos on Spotify or the Apple Store or Amazon, wherever you listen to music, it's probably there.
I was listening to my release radar thing on Spotify, and one of those tracks came up, and I was like, "Hey, I know that guy. These songs are good, yeah." And hopefully, you'll have some new music coming out this year alongside that too.
Heck yeah! I got my so I remastered my first album, Stories. And by remaster, I mean I went through all the production on it, and it's going to be mastered for the first time because it never was originally.
Right.
And I've included a bunch of remixes and B-sides, and I literally just got those masters in today. So
Nice.
I just got to go do some back and forth with the master guy. I'm sure there's always something that needs tweaked, and hopefully that'll be out here in a couple weeks.
Nice. Go support artists on Bandcamp. It helps out a ton. And Mina, where can we find you online?
You can find me on Twitch or on YouTube at Mina KO Rocket in Boston.
You can find all my shows e1m1.com. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening, and thank you for everyone for watching. And we'll see you next month. Bye.